Hey, what's good with it? It's your boy Rojo. This is a convict's perspective, joined as always by my boy, my co-host, Big Flacco is in the building, and he's gonna smash and slash and whatever he does with a little bit of energy. And I'm just gonna say, what's up, man? Hope you guys are having a good Friday, man. You got a good weekend coming, and everything you want is what you're getting. That's right. Today, we're gonna talk about some rumors they've been substantiated by people on both sides of the fence, essentially. But nonetheless, we are going to put a disclaimer. These are some of the rumblings we're hearing from basically these 50-50 yards in prison. You know, at times they'll put actives on a 50-50 yard, or opposite, they'll put inactives on an active yard. And of course, throughout history, it's supposed to be as soon as you hit one of them yards, you're supposed to take off, or you got 24 hours if you come at night when there's no movement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, we're hearing in some of these situations, things are a little bit different. And Flacco has a little bit to break down about this, about what a really, really extremely reliable source has told us just yesterday.
So it used to be 72 hours. I mean, I don't know who made that rule, who gave that directive. Even back in the 90s and 2000s, I used to question that my damn self, because I'm like, how are you ever going to establish a yard if you just keep on getting off? But apparently, man, with all the different things that are going on in the system right now, okay, I've been told in Chino State Prison, they've been integrating a lot of people off the GPs with the inactives. Soledad, they've been doing the same thing, and they're getting different results. So one person recently told me a story about what's recently happened, and I've known this person for a long, long time. Okay, they were out there functioning. I had a good relationship. His word's always been good in anything he's ever told me. He said that what's been going on now is that these actives are touching down on these yards, and that one of them touched down over there that he personally knew. And so he said, just because they're on the inactive side does not mean that they don't maintain their level of security. I mean, it's always going to be there. And so he basically pressed up on him, you know what I'm saying, just to figure out what was going on. And basically what this individual told this person, right, was that there's been new directives that are starting to come out that when they touch down on these yards, these 50-50 yards, rather than get off, wait for reinforcements to come, first and foremost. Their main priorities are going to be the SNY gangs, such as the Northern Riders or 2-5ers or New Flowers and so forth. And any of those with those heinous crimes. Anybody that maybe walked away and just wanted to do their own thing, whether they debriefed or whatnot, as long as they didn't commit any legitimate crimes against the people, they're supposed to try to encourage them to try to come back if they pay a certain amount of money. 10 racks, as we know, And I look at this as I've been told this by two people, and I've also heard this from someone on the active side as well. So it's all pretty much been corroborated. And these aren't individuals that are just no dummies. They've been in the system for a minute. They know the business. So I'm going to pretty much say that, hey, it may sound a little bit crazy, but I've had 3 different people tell me this story. But he also told me that there has been people who got nervous, who got to these yards, and they took flight the first chance that they got too, as well.
You got to think too, man, if you're going in one of those situations and you're not abreast, of the new policy to try to do whatever, you're going to do what you're supposed to have been done for decades. You end up on a bad yard, you're going to take off, because not everybody is always in the know of new policy. Sometimes, even in today's age, it might take a while to filter. It might not have hit this county jail. It might not have hit this reception center. And people end up, you pretty much got a list of places you can't go already once you're an RC. And if they send you there, if you don't know about, hey, we're trying to try something a little different here, you're going to take off, bro, because you don't want to get risk deemed being all bad. And the same thing, I'd still be leery personally, because like say I was all good and I end up on one of these bad yards, I'd be like, oh no, man, we're not really tripping like that no more if you didn't do nothing crazy, and try to befriend somebody, and then I'd give them the business anyway. So that's a hard one to.
I mean, you give 10 racks. You give 10 racks, man, then you get whacked anyways.
That's what I would do. I'd be like, gracias. Hey.
People aren't paying that money because they want to function or anything like that. They just want their name to be looked at as good. That's all it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? It happened with Gangster out there in Hayward, man. He paid, I think, Happy, what was it, like 8 or 12,000, somewhere in that range. So he went out, left, and he was in the dropout units in Santa Rita. Was up there for a couple months, got off, handled his business, got to the hole, got in Happy's ear. You know, his family, they're part of one of those clubs, if you know what I'm talking about, man. And they didn't want him basically being labeled as a PC.
You mean like one of the ones that's not a gang, it's a club?
Yeah, but one of the major ones, bro.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? One of the really, really major ones. So I guess part of their policy is that they don't want to recruit any, or they don't want to, what do you call that? What do they call it when they bring them into these clubs? Sponsor or
something like that.
Know. Pull them, recruit them, whatever. They don't want to give them their patch or prospect them.
There it is.
Coming out of PC. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, I've heard the story. I heard about how they went over there to meet up with Happy's people, and they had machine guns and all this shit to make sure it was all legit. And he actually went out to he actually went from PC to the hole to GP. Shit you not.
That still took a lot of balls on his behalf.
Well, a lot of homeboys were upset about that in the East Bay. You know what I mean? Why is he allowed to get a pass like that? You know what I mean? So it caused a lot of rumblings. I think the homeboy Nick got out of company, almost had an issue with that. A couple other people did, and they ended up getting across with Happy. You know? Plus, there was a lot of other things going on too, man. So a lot of people were mad about it. Like, you know, people are making sacrifices, and people could just go to PC and clear their name.
There's always going to be situations, man, that are case by case basis, man. That's, you know, a lot of people like
they're going to money by money case.
Yeah, they're going to be like, well, the rules say this and this and this. Money talks, you know what I mean? And relationships that you've built with people that are in, you know, powerful positions within any group, they're going to carry a lot of weight between money and who you know. It's not going to be the same as if me and Flacco could have a totally different thing. Say both of us lost a cell phone. He could end up being like, hey, they could tell him, man, shit happens, man. Sometimes the cops get shit. Me, I might get booked. You never know. And there's a lesson for this in today. Here's a lesson right here. Things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah.
Whether they're good or bad. Because you're going to see some scandalous ass shit that has no consequence. Nothing said about it. It's swept under the rug.
But you know what though? Let's keep it 100 on here, right? If this is supposed to be a fair and just cause, right? What about the person that can't afford that much money? Why isn't he given that due process to be got back? Because he can't afford it? You get what I'm saying? Let's just keep it 100. If this
kind of like the legal process. If you got money, you're not going to jail, and if you don't have no money, you're going to the pen.
Exactly. Yeah. So which system is any better? Okay, if you're a fair and just cause and you treat everybody equal, there ain't no equality, bro. It's out the door. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of it, man. But yeah, these stories that are going on, man, they're kind of interesting, man. And I've heard it from multiple people. So, you know, I got a sense that maybe there's some truth to it. I know the homeboy, how he gets information, he's going to relay it exactly how it was told. So there ain't going to be no misconstrued or whatnot. So yeah. I don't know if the dude giving them the information was embellishing it or not, but they're not bringing them in major waves. They're bringing like 2 to 4 at a time. You know?
Yeah, I haven't heard too many incidents lately on any of those kind of questionable yards where people have gotten off. You know, at least it hasn't made the news. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it depends how your schooling is, and it depends who you get there with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because some of those people that are on that yard, man, I mean, you know, it just wouldn't be good either way. There's no way that you should even be out there.
Yeah. Hey, another thing too, though, as a group, you have to evolve, and sometimes you got to switch up your tactics, man. You know.
That's true too.
You know, you can't be stuck in the exact same ways you were from September 16th to 68 and still expect the same formula to be successful in September of 23, bro. It's just not going to be, it's not going to happen. You got to evolve and adapt, and
especially if you maybe be prepared for something too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, shit, dude, going from the hole, bro, out of them shoes for since 88, 89, going down to the main line, just that alone was a lot of adapting and figuring out and understanding. Man, then these whole next new wave of indictments hit. Then, you got the federal state thing, man. It's just one thing after another. The same thing's not going to work every day. And what is the definition of insanity, Flacco?
Repeating the same thing over again, expecting different results.
So you can't get stuck doing that, man. That applies to everything in life, man. Working on something, trying to fix something, it doesn't matter what it is, not just some politics stuff, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think, dude, what would you do if you were active and you ended up on one of them yards? You got to take off. Man. That's how we were trained.
Because see, nowadays, you know where you're going. You should already have that filetto ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Get to R&R, that shit should already be dropping out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they used to give you 72 hours too, just so you guys know. So you'd have a chance to obtain some weapon stock, some metal.
But we messed up doing that, I think, though, bro. I always think that. I mean, a lot of us in the shoe felt like when we were hearing that was coming from dudes that were out there in these yards that put those impositions on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made no sense to me. How are you ever going to establish a yard if you just keep on taking off all the time? It just made no sense.
Well, the thing is if you go to a yard, like most of the yards are going to be either totally dominated by the opposition, by the Bulldogs, or by dropouts. You're never going to establish anything on one of those yards anyway. If only one or two of you come at a time. If they bring 2 bus loads from West Block and Quinton and take you to a yard that's you got a chance. But if you and the homeboy happen to go from Tracy to, let's just say, Mule Creek, you're not establishing nothing in Mule Creek. You're going to get fucked up. They're gonna peel your cap in Mule Creek.
Yeah.
So that's why the whole 72-hour thing, the only reason I ever seen that being feasible would be to choose your target, acquire metal stock, weapon stock, fashion yourself a weapon, and choose your target and handle your business.
I did it in 6 hours, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always told 24 hours. I never really heard the 72-hour thing. Or first chance you get. Hey, because a lot of times you pull up to them institutions at night and stuff, you're not going to see nobody necessarily. You know what I mean?
Hey, I seen everything. I seen everything. I seen dropouts. I seen Bulldogs. I seen this is when we had issues with Southsiders hardcore back then, bro. They were all there. Like fucking, I mean, and it's just me on the yard.
Yeah.
So I picked the one that called me a buster. That's the one I targeted.
Yeah, that's what I'd have done too. I would have looked at who I thought was in charge or who disrespected me. I'd even play the role too, like, oh, I don't play that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them guys. Fuck them guys.
Bro. I had a Mongolian, bro.
Oh yeah, well.
You know what I mean? And I'm over there being told, hey, they're gonna ask you to cut your tail. The Sureños are. I ain't cut shit.
Oh, the Sureños, the Sureños ask you to cut your tail?
These dudes that ended up being dropouts, man. I think one of them was Pancho from Sanjo or somewhere he was an NF dropout. I found out later on. But he came at me like a square, bro. Like seriously, he didn't come at me like no OG, but he had that look. And he's like, oh, they're gonna ask you not to cut your tail, and we don't play politics here. He's talking like that. I'm like, man, who's this dude, man? Is he gay or something? I mean, I couldn't really figure it out, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's trying to just be cool to see where I'm at and see where my head's at. And I told him to kick rocks, him and his homeboy. Fucking crazy, man. Hey, I'm telling you, bro, he did not have that fucking talk to him. He talked like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I was like.
Later on, you find out he used to be a C or something.
Yeah, he was a hardcore NF member.
He was trying to play you out of pocket, so you wouldn't be his number one target.
He's like, we don't play politics here. They're gonna ask you to shave your head. They're already looking at you. There's already talks about you. That's why I'm here to get at you. You know what I mean? Like, I go kick rocks.
Hey, I remember hearing some cool stories about homies going down south and other homeboys basically telling them what the opposition's bidding, what their fucking desires are. Like, okay, you can't go on that side. You can't not take your shirt off to work out and whoop. And it's like, 10, 12, NGNs that they pretend like they're still all good, trying to tell you what some other man said you have to do. Like,
Damn.
I've heard a lot of those stories, bro.
I heard about that too, bro.
Like, man, bro. They're kicking in their canteen. You know what I'm saying? Like, here you guys go. There's 400 of you and 12 of us.
It's not fun, bro. It's not. It's fucking the most fucking. I don't know how to explain it, man. Like you're fucking just your fear is all over. You don't know what to expect, bro. And it's not that you're fucking. You know what I mean? It's just you don't know. You're like you feel lost. You feel trapped. Like you're like by yourself. That's what it was, bro. You feel totally by yourself, man. I was like, fuck, man. There's no homeboys here. When I asked the first black dude I seen, hey, is there any Northerners here? He goes, I think there is. I was like, fuck.
That's not a good sign.
Because, that's how you're taught. Get at the African on R&R. Find out where the homeboys are at. This and that. You know what I mean? I've always been told, hey, there's always been homeboys that try to establish their yard, but it always turns out bad. They get off. They get taken off the yard. So, all right, let me see if there's any homeboys there. There's no homeboys on the yard. And then they go, they have the tags. My tag was red, and the whole board was all blue. Right? And then, this is before SNY. This is where a lot of old school dropouts used to be placed to go hide. You know what I'm saying? But they would send youngsters there too. So there was a bunch of young game bangers there, bro. Like that's how I ended up there. You know what I'm saying? I think I did the video called The Setup, man. It was a total fucking setup, man. They took me in a special transporter in a car by myself from Solano State Prison. Why someone around the same time I had debriefing reports coming out when I got validated.
Where'd they take you?
So you tell me that they took me in a car, 2 COs, all the way to San Luis Obispo. I shit you not, man. They pulled over at Gilroy for me to use the restroom. They come out with the guns all crazy. I have to walk all like this and shit. And I'm like, fuck, everybody's looking at me. You know what I mean? The CO had to run ahead. Hey, stop. Like make a scene and shit. Like I was some fucking serial killer.
Like you were Hannibal Lecter and shit. Hey, they did that to me in Pelican Bay, right? Hey, when I parole from the Bay, before they do the courtesy paroles, when you could still parole from Pelican Bay, well, because I was in the SHU, nobody else from the SHU got out that day. It was just mainline and probably the little Pelican Bay ranch and whatnot, the 4-yard and then the ranch. Bro, I'm shackled. I'm in a jumpsuit because they burned me on my parole clothes. So I'm in a damn kung fu suit with the kung fu shoes. And I show up at the bus stop. Hey, all the other dudes are unhandcuffed in their street clothes and shit. Man, I'm fully shackled because I got out of the SHU, bro. And they made a big display of the same shit, bro. I get off. There's hella regular civilians there for the bus station and shit. They're all standing on the side of me, uncuffing me. Everybody's staring at me, bro. Like, man, how many people did this dude eat? You know what I'm saying? I felt hella dumb. Hey, everybody on the Greyhound's looking at me like this.
Though, bro.
This is embarrassing.
They did buy me a soda, though. That was cool. You know what I mean? You got to drink a little soda.
Oh, man. Anyway, YouTube, man, that's a little bit about some of the changes that might be taking place for whatever reason. Can't call it. There's an end game for everything these people do, though. So
we should have someone that's going to come on soon to explain a little bit more about it, too, though.
We're going to have a special guest soon, hopefully, man. Really, really soon. So keep your eye out. We will definitely let you know before it happens. And it's something you're not going to want to miss. It's going to go down, hopefully, this week at some point in time. But anyway, YouTube, man, this is your boy Rojo. That's Big Flacco. This is A Convict's Perspective. This is the Mother Channel. Let's not forget where it all started. Check these videos out, man. We making sure we're bringing you some good stuff, man. Enjoy your weekend. Flacco's going to be live a little later on Real Talk with Flacco. If you ain't checked it out, make sure you check it out. I dropped a banger on the Rojo room earlier.
I'm going to play Rojo tonight, guys.
You know I dropped a banger earlier on the Rojo room about why I left the group. So something you don't want to miss, part 1.
I got to check that out.
Enjoy your weekend. It's your boy Rojo, Flacco. We're out here.